I'm almost willing to bet this is going to be the most difficult one so far. Hello everyone, welcome to Kiss Army Things here on YouTube. My name is Xander. So as we get closer and closer to Halloween, I just can't help but think that it's time for another epic Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park VFX edit. And just to bring some people up to speed in case you're not sure what I'm talking about, although I know most fans are very well aware of Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. Kiss starred in their very own superhero rock and roll movie in 1978. So basically, while playing a few shows at Magic Mountain Theme Park, they start to uncover an evil plan by the mad scientist Abner Devereaux. And it actually sounds kind of awesome, except for the fact that, production was really rushed. It was a made-for-TV movie, and plus it wasn't like the members of the band were well-rounded actors, so one thing after another has led to a lot of people, heavily critiquing this movie over the last 45 years. But here on Kiss Army Things, we've been analyzing some of these scenes, breaking them down, everything from the visual effects to the sound effects, the pacing, and just the overall edit of the scene. And then we fix it. That's right. We don't just talk the talk, we walk the walk, we get our hands dirty and maybe learn a thing or two about movies and video editing and have a better appreciation for things like visual effects. But I know I haven't done a full fight scene since the first one that we did, and yeah, there was some action in that last one, but I know a few people asked for this, so yeah, it's that fight scene. Oh boy. Talk about your apex predators. Okay, so this first part is going to be something of a reaction video, I guess, because we need to actually watch the scene real quick and, see what we're dealing with, see what we're working with. And right now, this is giving me, like, hardcore Scooby-Doo vibes. And not in a good way. But it was a Hanna-Barbera film, so I guess that does check out. Now, these shots look great. I love the big reveal where you actually see all of the... What are these things? I don't even know what you call them. Wolfmen?
Apes is more like it.
But my issue is when the fight actually gets started, because you have all these moments where there's excessive use of slow motion. I mean, it's just completely unnecessary. It's not adding anything to the scene. If anything, it's taking away from what intensity there would be. It's a fight scene, so it needs to be hard-hitting, it needs to be fast, and we're not getting that with some of these sequences. Hey, okay, that might not be too difficult to do. And don't even get me started on these sparks. Man, they're so bad. I don't even know what I'm going to do to get rid of those, or at least as many as I can. Oh no, did you see that? That was awful. Look at that!
Bruh.
That's rough. That's rough, man. Let's go! Oh, I love that. I love that. I've always thought that was like one of the coolest things ever. I mentioned how that fire-breathing shot from Magic Mountain was as well. This has got to be right up there with it. I just think, I don't know, that's just so cool. That's superhero Kiss right there. Oh yeah, go. Get him, get him. See, that's a great throw, but it's in slow motion. It needs to be sped up. We got, sparks and slow motion in this one. So, okay, so we're seeing a lot of the same issues over and over again. We need to add a sense of intensity, a sense of speed and danger. I mean, those guys do look kind of creepy. So, there you go. Knock his head off. That's great. I love how, okay, I just noticed, if you look, you can actually see, hang on a minute, let me get to it. You can actually see where this guy's head is actually right about here. And they've extended the torso up so that when he knocks his head off, it's just, I don't know, that's a pretty cool practical effect there. All right, here we go. Let's top it off. And bang. Yes, so the classic, iconic Paul Stanley Starchild Laser. I'm going to have a lot of fun with that. Is right. I agree with you, Ace. I definitely have my work cut out for me. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Adobe Premiere Pro so that we can get cracking on this. Let's take this scene, rewind it all the way to the beginning. And just like we always do, we're just going to take it one step at a time from beginning to end, because I'm almost willing to bet this is going to be the most difficult one so far. I'll be honest, I love this opening shot with Kiss standing there and then they just kind of come into frame. You'd be surprised how hard it is to get something to go from not being in focus to in focus on time. Now, of course, we have autofocus nowadays. This was no doubt done all manual. Perfectly symmetrical down the middle. See, there's some good stuff here. It's just we gotta sift through it, find the good, and remove what's not good. How long is this scene even to begin with? A little under 3 minutes. So, I mean, we may end up just cutting it in half because of the slow motion right then and there. But no. So my first issue is this part right here where they're kind of walking. So obviously we need to keep the idea that Kiss is being lured into a trap. but also remove the goofiness. So if they're facing each other here, why not just cut to this part here where they're walking away, and that way we still get the idea that Kiss is being lured, but it doesn't look quite as weird. And I get that these are not supposed to be taken seriously, these movies. There was two versions. There was the original TV movie, Kiss Me, the Phantom of the Park. Then there was the European Attack of the Phantoms. We're using the European edit because it's just a little bit higher quality. But I know it's not supposed to be taken seriously, but for these videos, I kind of have to. Otherwise, why am I doing this, okay? But, I mean, I really do think that both of these are like, when you compare them, it's like film 101. It's like a case study. It's, you know, whatever, all wrapped up into one. It just goes to show that every frame counts. Whether you have too many, or maybe you have too few. Ideally, you want to have a balance. And so if you look right here, notice how the demon's head is tilting down, and then in the next shot, it's tilting down again. So why not right here, cut it right there so you have a nice transition. And it's not going to be, you know, perfect, but any chance we have to add continuity into this scene, we're going to do it. We're going to take every chance we can get. But like I said at the beginning, I like this shot here where it pans and you actually get to see a wide shot and a close-up shot of all the bad guys. I think it's just really, really cool.
Yikes. Apes is more like it.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's kind of funny. I've removed some dialogue from other scenes already, so I feel like if I keep doing that, there's going to be none left. And I know what you're saying. You're saying, well, Xander, that might not be a bad idea. But no, I'm going to leave that in. I think it's a nice little moment between Peter and Ace, or Michael Bell and Ace, excuse me. But what I am going to do is actually add in some dialogue from the original Kiss Me, the Phantom of the Park. They took this line out for Attack of the Phantoms, and I guess I can see why, but I don't know. I think it's cool. And it's a little one-word line when Paul says,
"Gentlemen."
I don't know. I just think it's cool. Imagine if you had all your guys, bring them all. Doesn't matter how many. You up against 4, and all they got to say is, all right, bet. I'd probably rethink my next move. Okay, so now the fight's getting started. We can begin to retime some of this atrocious slow motion. You know what? I may keep just a little bit of that slow motion. Like have it start in slow motion and then just hit the gas right at the last moment and then have it go into the fight. Just to hold on to that last moment of intensity and build up before the fight begins. I don't know. We'll see how it works out. But I'm going to cut it before the sparks. Before the sparks. And again, I don't know if I'm going to be able to actually remove every single spark from every single shot. But did you notice? It seems that these two sequences here with the Spaceman stunt double Alan, it almost looks like they're beat for beat the exact same shot, just from different angles. They both start with a left kick, a right kick, and then ends with a huge left kick. See? That looks like the exact same, so that's going to come in handy because not only do I get to remove all those sparks from the shot, but being able to cut from shot to shot, we can add some dynamic and add some intensity into the scene. Okay, so I know everybody wants me to get to the actual VFX part, and here we go. So I find it a little poetic that the first visual effects shot in this whole scene is yet another fire-breathing shot. So this should be pretty doable for us, right? We have another janky effect here that just kind of looks like a pasted-on fire effect. So we're definitely in After Effects now, and even though we don't have the original footage without this effect, we do know what this area looks like without the fire because it's right there. It's right before he breathes fire. And so just like in the last one, I'm going to take this area right here and essentially copy and paste it over top of the fire, and hopefully we're going to be able to blend it. Now, I know this sounds like it's just super easy, but it's not. And right now, this is what we have. And that's because there's this ever so slight jitter. Even though the camera looks like it's on a tripod, there's always going to be just enough jitter for it to not quite be in the same spot. So what I'm going to do here is go through each frame and adjust this part that I've added so that it looks as closely as possible like it actually belongs there. And my hope is that the fire that I put on top of it will cover any errors that may be there. And luckily I did find this free flamethrower VFX asset, which it's not perfect, but I can work with it, I think. My first goal is to have it look like it's actually shooting from his mouth. And it's going to look a little odd right now because it looks like it's coming from over his shoulder. But no, if he was turned around, it's going to be right in the center or lower 2/3 of his head. So my main goal is just to look like it's following the motion of his head. He tends to lean forward when he breathes fire. That's kind of like his signal, if you will. I'm going to make a quick mask and track it so that it actually does hide that fire and give it a small feather, and that will have it actually look like it's coming from the front as opposed to the back of his head. And I know this isn't perfect, okay? There's a few things I'm going to try and do to make it look better and spice it up. But as I've stated in other videos, the only thing that's going to make this look even halfway remotely good is if the flame actually interacts with the fire in the scene. Fire is super hot, it's super bright, therefore it needs to light up everything around it in the scene. And when it doesn't, your brain subconsciously knows that. And so we need to have it look like there's an actual flame in the scene, even though there's not. And this one's going to be a lot trickier than the ones I've done in the past. It was a subtle but strong effect in the Magic Mountain concert scene. It was a game changer in the last one, but I cheated. Okay, well, I didn't cheat. There's no cheating, but I took the easy way out. Basically what I did was just duplicate the shot and blow it out, make it bright. And after masking around the areas where I thought the fire would affect it, I just faded in from one to the other. And it worked beautifully for those scenes, but it's not going to work here at all. This one is completely different. So it's a far away shot. He's shooting the fire away from camera as opposed to close to frame. There's way more depth in this scene. So I may actually have to learn some real VFX right now. Okay, so give me just a second here. I got to go and learn some visual effects here. So give me a moment and I shall return. Okay, I'm feeling more confident now about this. So my first step is to create this grid, and that's going to establish our 3D scene. It's going to tell the program where our floor is, how far our scene extends, and the perspective and all that. So after that, we can add in the light source. And we actually have all kinds of control here. We have all kinds of effects to play around with and get it looking just right. I'm going to try and match the color of the light to the color of the flame. That way it blends a little bit better. And because we have established a 3D scene, I can not only fade in and out like I did last time, but I can also move the light through the scene as the flame extends, and that is just so cool. So this is looking really awesome. Oh, I am so ready for this one. I am so ready for this. So like I said, this is already an iconic shot from the movie. But when I first became a Kiss fan, my dad had these figures, and the Spaceman figure actually shot rockets out kind of like he does in the movie. And so my dad saw us having so much fun with those, he was like, okay, well, why don't you check out this and see what you think? And it was Kiss Extreme Close Up. And so when it showed Ace shooting his rockets there, I was like, that's it! That's the thing! This has always been really cool. I'm excited to get started. How are they even doing this shot first? Let's analyze how they're actually doing this. So let's just go frame by frame here. Oh, okay, so it's just the same as it has been the whole time. They're just throwing in effects over top. But why does this look so good? Oh, look, there's a practical light. Okay, that makes so much sense. So look at how, okay, see his torso here, it's dark, and all of a sudden, next frame, boom, high detail. So they're shining a light on his face. You can see his face even getting real bright. So that is motivated VFX right there. That's why this shot looks so good, because while he's doing the motion as if he was shooting rockets, they are flashing a light in his face, and that's why I think this shot looks so much better than any of the other ones. So yeah, this is an awesome effect. We even have a clean plate. Oh, this just gets better and better. Thank you so much. So I think I've mentioned in the past a clean plate is just your empty scene without anything else in it. Obviously, if you're going to start putting stuff in your scene, it's good to know what it looks like without anything. That way, if you need reference, you have it. In the first one, I had no choice but to create my own clean plate, and it was super time consuming. So I'm so glad to see that we have a clean plate here. I just don't really know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to touch this part at all. This right here looks absolutely flawless. Nothing needs done there. The issue is the second part here, because one frame they're there, the next they're not. And are they using a practical effect here too? Look at that. There's no way you're getting that clean of a roto edge and a light wrap, especially in 78. Are they just blowing pyrotechnics up in these guys' faces? Like, no, it's okay. The mask will protect you. You'll be all right. But they're here one frame, they're gone the next, and so I think I definitely want to have some smoke linger, but I'm not sure how I want to, enhance this effect. When I was doing the Magic Mountain concert scene, I was going between two effects, making Ace appear. I had one that was more of a glitchy, static white noise effect, and then the other one was like more of an energetic electrical effect. And I went with the second one, so maybe that first one would work well here. I already know how to do it, and so it would be pretty easy. So I'm going to take a lesson from Gene Simmons real quick and just recycle something from the past. I think it looks great. I'm not going to lie. I think it looks really great. The only problem is that now that I've masked around them and created the effect, there's no flash. So I think it would be really cool to have like this, not only a big flash, but a couple lens flares just to have the effect linger just a little bit longer. That was a lot of fun. That is such a cool shot, and I cannot wait to get to the sound effects. But before we do that, let's do one more visual effects shot, and this one is going to be really important because it's the classic Paul Stanley Starchild Laser. And there were a lot of folks who were pretty upset with me in the Magic Mountain scene where I'd removed Paul's laser. And I did that because I'm trying to base these in reality as much as possible. And so even though it does look cool in the original for Paul to walk on his own laser, it doesn't make sense in this version because the laser is an actual laser. So it wouldn't make any sense to have Paul walking on a laser that should be burning his feet. I know it's not real, but I want the laser to look real, and this does not look real. So I'm going to quickly create a clean plate, and to create the actual laser effect, I'm going to be using the exact same effect I used for the lightsaber. I have a really cool plugin called Saber from Video Copilot that if you ever want to get into visual effects, it's a great place to start because I think lightsabers are one of the more easier effects to do because of this plugin. But it doesn't just do lightsabers, it has all kinds of effects here. If you're a fan of Harry Potter, there's the Patronus. The one I'm going to be using here is the energy preset. I think it looks cool for a classic Superman laser. Unfortunately, it doesn't look good. And you know me, I'm going to put some sauce on this and figure out what is it going to take to make this look extra good. Perhaps interactive lighting here too. I'm going to go back to the way I was doing it before and have it look like the laser is actually lighting up the roller coaster behind it. Because even though I have removed the original laser, there is still this little subtle hint of it. You can kind of see it glowing and flickering. So I'm going to increase the glow on our energy laser here, and I'm also going to add in this really cool lens flare. More lens flares. Can never have too many lens flares. Have a lens flare on Paul's eye and have his eye heat up. That way it's like charging, and again, just any way to draw out these effects, because everything is going by pretty quickly, as it should in a fight scene. So all these things I'm doing are just trying to not only make it look more real, but be more intense. So now I think we've reached the end, which means it's time for sound effects. And I'll be honest, I did not anticipate this when I first started doing these. I was just thinking, hey, wouldn't it be cool to see updated visual effects? And I quickly realized that there was no way I was going to be able to just keep the same sound effects from the original. So this right here is our video, and this is our audio, the music and sound effects. We're just going to delete that, get rid of it, and start from scratch. Except for the dialogue. I'm going to keep the dialogue, obviously, but everything else, we're going to have to figure out how to recreate it. Some of these I can actually probably just do myself. The rest I'll just try and find for free online. You know, you got to just get all you can take. Any way you slice it. I'm going to do things my way, come hell or high water. Okay, enough with the 80s Kiss references. I'm going to go ahead and get down to it. So, one of my favorites so far is Gene's Heavy Boots. Some scenes it sounds like high heels, but this gives some weight to it. But I'm excited for this, so let's just go ahead and tackle this because I want to divide this up into sections and tackle it that way. So we have the charge up, the blast, the travel, the explosion, and then the deletion. So five parts, if you will, that we're going to divide this up in. And for the charge up, I'm thinking this. Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. Sorry, I had that in my head for a while. I'm so excited about that. So I love the Iron Man sound effect there. And then for the blast, we have this. Paul's laser is pretty simple. I'm just going to use a classic Superman sound effect. No reason to reinvent the wheel there. Also, I'd like to add in these claw sound effects for the Catman because he's the only one without visual effects. But anyway, so I know I could just keep going. I don't want to bog anybody down. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up. I didn't even do this part right here. Oh boy. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up so that way when I'm done, you can watch the final product. So give me just a minute. I'll be right back. Hey everyone, it's me from the future. So I was talking about some sound effects, but I didn't mention anything about the music. And when I was thinking about what would work well for this scene, of course I was never going to use the music from the original scene. But even New York Groove I don't think is the right choice. It's not something that you would hear in a fight scene. As a matter of fact, I don't think any of the songs from the solo albums are going to work in this scene. So what I'm going to do is use a song from side 4 of Kiss Alive 2, and that song is Larger Than Life. I think that because of its crunchy riff and simplistic beat, that it would work well within the scene and not take away from the scene or distract from the scene. I just think that it would work best. I was trying to think of what song would work, and yeah, none of the solo album stuff would work. So I'm going to use this sweet track from side 4 of Alive 2. However, I will be adding in just a little bit of the original music from the original scene into the beginning. I just think it was so cool, so eerie and creepy. And so yeah, with that, I think that's going to do it for the music. Anyway, I just wanted to give you a little bit more insight to that. So let's get back to the video. Okay, so I'm finally done with this. This took all day. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up and let you guys get to watching the final edit. It'll appear on your screen at the end of this video, or if you're impatient, you can go ahead and click the first link in the description. It'll be there. And I thank you guys so much for watching these videos. I hope I don't bog anybody down. I just want to show what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And, you know, hopefully we can appreciate this movie a lot more and appreciate visual effects. You know, I am no visual effects artist, but I am amazed at how much goes into this just for, you know, even a couple seconds on screen. So, yeah, this is a lot of fun, a lot of work. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Okay, so now that they're gone and they're off watching the final video and you guys are just watching, it's just me and you now. I just want you to know, I think I've done it. I think I've done it. I think I figured out a way how to fix the ending to this movie. And I know what you're saying. You're saying, Xander, it's impossible. There was no ending to the movie. Okay, well, yeah, you're right. There was no ending. It was very, very weird and abrupt. But I've been thinking on how I could fix this movie. I mean, because if I'm going to go ahead and fix these scenes, it makes no sense why I wouldn't fix the ending too. So if you want to see me tackle that, be sure and stay tuned for the next one. I'm not sure when I'm going to get to it, but rest assured it will happen. And in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and start gearing up for more Kiss Army Things podcast episodes. You can check us out there. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. Kiss Army, thank you so much for being here. Peace out. My name is Xander. Have a great day.